Audience graders, in Unit 2, Part 3, we are talking about solving one-step and two-step equations. You'll notice that the notes are 2 pages front and back, so they are pretty long. I'm letting you know right now in advance that if this is something you remember well from last year and you want to try to just fill out the whole note page without watching the video, that's totally fine. You will have to grade the note page though. So if you're not sure about something, make sure you watch it. But if you get the easier ones, you want to fast forward, that's totally fine. Whatever you want to do. So a couple definitions for you. Inverse operations are just 2 operations that undo each other. So for instance, addition and subtraction undo each other, and multiplication and division undo each other. We'll go into more examples later on in the year, but for now, those are really the main ones we need to worry about. So the first thing we're going to look at is solving an equation using subtraction. This part right here, again, is just copy and paste out of the book. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Just follow along. So your directions in this section are to solve the equation and then check your solution. So those of you who were at Parrish last year know that when we solve equations, the first thing we want to do is box the equation. Okay, so we're going to box the original, and then we're going to rewrite it. Z plus 16 equals 4. Now my whole goal when I'm solving equations is to get the variable by itself. So if you go to the side that has the variable, I have Z plus 16. So I want to undo that addition, and I'll do that with subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 16 from the left side. I have an equal sign, which means in math, anytime I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to subtract 16 on this side as well. So 16 minus 16 on the left side will cancel each other out. I'll have Z equals negative 12. Now the second part is the part that most people dislike the most, but it says to check your solution. That means I'm going to plug my answer into the original. So I'm going to replace Z with negative 12. So I'll have negative 12 plus 16 equals 4. And then I just work it out and see if it's true. So negative 12 plus 16 is 4. I get 4 equals 4. Now, in your definitions, the definitions for equivalent equations were that they have the same solution. So when I go back and check, I want to make sure that both sides have the same number there. So let's look at number 2. Again, the first thing I'm going to do is box the original equation, and then I'm going to rewrite it. So negative 3 equals j plus 5. I go to the side with the variable because that's what I want to get by itself. So I go to the right side where the j is. I have plus 5 over there. So I'm going to undo that addition with subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. 5 minus 5 is going to cancel out. So I'll have negative 8 equals j. I need to check my solution. So I plug negative 8 in with 5. So negative 3 equals negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. So I know I've got the right answer. 3 and 4, I'm going to go ahead and let you worry about. On the bottom, we're moving on to solving an equation using addition. So again, this part's out of the book. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. So now flipping over to the back page, let's look at our examples. It says solve the equation, check your solution. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm always going to box the original. So I box the original, and I rewrite it. A minus 20 equals negative 3. I go to the side with the variable, which is the left side. I have A minus 20, so I have subtraction. I have to undo that operation, so I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Negative 20 and 20 cancel each other out. So I have A equals, and then negative 3 plus 20 is 17. So that's going to be my answer there. They ask you to check the solution, so I plug in 17 for A. 17 minus 20 is negative 3, so I get negative 3 equals negative 3, which is correct. Looking at number 2, again, my first step is to box and rewrite. So I'm going to box this original. I'm going to rewrite it. Negative 9 equals A minus 11. I go to the right side because that's where the variable is. I have subtraction going on. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides and undo that. So negative 9 plus 11 is 2. Negative 11 plus 11 cancels out. So I get 2 equals K. They want you to check your solution. So negative 9 equals 2 minus 11. I get negative 9 equals negative 9. And my answer is correct. I'll leave 3 and 4 in this section up to you as well. If you look at the next section, it says mixed practice, so we just got a little bit more going on here. So it's a little bit more complicated. As always, we're going to box and rewrite. So I have 10 plus k plus 6 equals 22. I look at the left side because that's where my variable is. I want to combine like terms first. So I'm going to get k plus 16, 10 plus 6 is 16, equals 22. I have addition on the left side of the variable, so I'm going to subtract to undo that operation. So k equals 22 minus 16 is 6. It asks me to check my solution. So 10 plus, I replace k with 6, plus 6 equals 22. 10 plus 6 plus 6 is 22. So I know I'm correct there. Looking at the next one, I'm going to start by boxing and rewriting. So I have negative 8 minus n plus 14 equals 6. I want to combine like terms on the left side because that's where my variable is. So I'm negative n. Negative 8 plus 14 is positive 6 equals 6. I have addition on the side with my variable, so I want to subtract on both sides. So I end up with negative n equals 0. When I'm solving the equation, I want to find the variable. I want to find the positive variable. In this case, I have negative n equals 0, so that's pretty easy because positive n equals 0. But I always want to find positive n. So that's my answer there. If I had gotten negative n equals 2, then positive n would have been negative 2. So that's just, just in case. It asked me to check my solution, so I'm going to do that over here in the middle. So negative 8 minus 0 plus 14 equals 6. Negative 8 minus 0 just keeps it at negative 8. Negative 8 plus 14 is positive 6. I get 6 equals 6. So I'm going correct there. Again, 3 and 4 are for you to work on. Looking at the next section. Sorry about that. Miss Bernard just came in and told me that we have pizza, so that's awesome. We do it at the bottom of this page. Division property of equality. Again, this is straight out of the book. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, no worries. So now, if you look at the equations we have here, for all of these, we have a number right next to a variable, which means that's multiplication. We undo multiplication with division. So I'm going to box and rewrite. Negative 6y equals negative 84. And then since I'm multiplying 6 times y, I'm going to divide by negative 6 on both sides. So those cancel out. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is just 1. So I have 1y equals negative 84 divided by negative 6. It's going to give me a positive number, and it's going to be positive 14. They want us to check our solution, so negative 6, plug in 14, equals negative 84. Negative 6 times 14 is negative 84. So I know I'm good there. Alright, I'm going to let you guys do 2 and 3. I'm actually going to come down here into number 4. So I box it. I rewrite it, negative 99 equals 11f. I go to the right side because that's what my variable is. I'm multiplying 11 times f, so I need to divide by 11. So negative 99 divided by positive 11 is going to give me negative 9 equals f. Now I plug in a double check, so negative 99 equals 11 times negative 9. So I get negative 99 equals negative 99, so I know I'm good there. If you look at the bottom of this page, we're now looking at the multiplication properties. So again, this is straight out of your book. Use it if you want to. If it confuses you, don't even worry about it. So if you look at the set of problems here, equations here, for all of these, we're doing a variable divided by a number. Fraction, remember, means division, so we're dividing all of these. So I'm going to box and rewrite. So I have negative 15 equals w divided by negative 12. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm just going to multiply by negative 12 over here on the right because these will cancel, and I'll just be left by w with w. If I do that on the right side, I also have to do it on the left. So I multiply by negative 12 on the left as well. A negative times a negative is a positive. 12 times 15 is 180. So 180 will be my answer. I need to check my solution. So negative 15 equals 180 divided by negative 12. If I actually do 180 divided by negative 12, I get negative 15. So I'm good to go there. I'm going to let you guys do 2 and 3 again. I'm going to skip down here and do number 4. I'm going to start by boxing and rewriting. So -5 equals x over 13. I go to the right because that's where my variable is. I'm dividing by 13. So to undo that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 13. 13 times -5 is -65. And then 13 and 13 cancel out here, and I have x. So -65 equals x. I'm going to plug that into check. So -5 equals -65 divided by 13. When I divide that out, I get -5. So I know I'm all good there. If you flip to the back side, so on the last part of this notes, again, I apologize for it being so long. The first thing we're going to do is check possible solutions. So it says, tell whether the given value of the variable is a solution of the equation. So our first equation is -15 equals -3x plus 15. And what they want us to test is x equals 5. So what I'm going to do is rewrite this equation, and I'm going to replace x with 5. And then I'm going to work it out and see if it works. So I have -15 equals -3 times 5 is -15 plus 15. -15 plus 15 is 0. So 5 is not a solution. 5 does not work. Looking at number 2, I have x divided by 5 minus 6 equals -2. And they give me x equals 20 to test out. So I'm going to plug in 20 for x. So 20 over 5 minus 6 equals -2. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 4 minus 6 equals -2. 4 minus 6 is -2. So I know that 20 works out. Alright, I'm going to let you guys do 3 and 4 there. Remember, you're just plugging in the value they give you for x in for x to see if it works. Right. And then the last thing we're going to talk about in this section is solving two-step equations. So we've done solving with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now we're going to combine 2 of those steps. So we're always going to add or subtract first, then we're going to multiply or divide. So let's look at our first example. We're still going to box and rewrite first. So 7x plus 12 equals 26. We want to go to the side with the variable, which is the left side. Remember, I said we're going to add or subtract first. So since I have plus 12, I need to do the opposite operation, which means I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. So these 12s cancel, and I have 7x. 26 minus 12 is 14. So I subtracted first, now I need to multiply or divide. 7x is 7 times x, so I need to divide to undo that. So I'll get x equals 2 as my answer. Now again, it asks to check your solution, so I'm going to rewrite the original equation, but I'm going to plug in 2 for x. So 7 times 2 is 14, plus 12 equals 26. 14 plus 12 is 26. So I know that I'm right there. I'm going to let you guys do 2 and 3. I'm going to scroll down and do number 4 to show you an example of a little bit harder one. Everything starts the same. You're going to box and rewrite. So -14 equals -22 minus x over 3. So I go to the right side because that's where my variable is. First thing I'm going to do is add or subtract. I have this -22 over here, so I need to add 22 to both sides. That's the opposite operation. -14 plus 22 is 8. The -22 and the 22 cancel out, and then I have -x over 3. Now, x over 3 is division, x divided by 3. So I want to multiply both sides by 3, because that's going to get rid of the 3's there. 3 times 8 is 24, and then I'm left with -x. But remember, I said we don't want to solve for a negative variable, we want the positive. So if I want positive x, that means 24 is going to be -24. Now I can plug in to check my solution. So I have -14 equals -22 minus -24 over 3. So I've got a whole lot of negatives going on here. So I have -14 equals -22 minus -24 divided by 3 is -8. So if you remember our subtraction rules, this becomes addition, the 8 becomes positive. -22 plus 8 is -14, so I know I did it right. Again, I apologize for such a long video. Let me know if you have any questions.